I am passing new conspiracy law. I just got some information from a website, which I think is pretty accurate. They believe that the shadow government, and Lori McBride, Jesuits are behind the shadow government right now, wants to overthrow President Trump by using the Federal Reserve System to orchestrate a Great Depression, I think they're going to hike interest rates or do something like that to try to orchestrate a Great Depression like we had in 1929. And that's how they're going to try to get rid of Trump. And Trump's been doing a pretty good job. I don't necessarily agree with his outward stances on positions, but I believe he has his heart in the right place. Because Vladimir Putin is not a terrorist or a thug or any of those things, but I think Trump knows that, and he's just playing a game with the media just so he can get them off of his back about all this this Russia hysteria, which the Lori McBride Jesuits are behind. Anyways, I'm just kind of getting off the subject. If you go to my Facebook page, I post on my political views and what I think about Trump and all that. Here's the new law that I just wrote. Because the Jesuits have had too much control over the United Nations and the United States Federal Reserve System from the time of its founding until the present, and have turned the United Nations and the U.S. Federal Reserve System into an organization which promotes Jesuit goals for the world, the international president and the international government prefer to bypass the United Nations and the U.S. Federal Reserve System and instead use the International Charity Bank as their means to funnel funds to those persons, nations, organizations that need assistance from the international government and to manage the financial systems of the United States and the world. 13.7b, this is under my terrorist money laws. It's one of my conspiracy law documents. As of April 18, 2017, the U.S. Federal Reserve System will be abolished and replaced with the International Charity Bank, expanding the operations of the International Charity Bank. All current workers for the U.S. Federal Reserve will be scanned with mind and emotion reads to determine who at the U.S. Federal Reserve is a Jesuit. 37c. For the purposes of conspiracy law, a Jesuit is defined as a person who honors Satan and is part of the organization founded by Saint Ignatius de Loyola and who willingly and knowingly honors Satan or an Angelina ballerina type of Jesuit order as a member of the Jesuit order. This means that a Jesuit who strives to honor Jesus Christ or Zach Knight, Zach Knight's been good from September 2016 to the present, is not considered a Jesuit according to conspiracy law unless they are only honoring Jesus and or Zach as a show and in actuality and behind the scenes honor Satan and or Angelina Ballerina or any evil Jesuit leader like Lori McBride. 13.7d. All Jesuits must be removed from the Federal Reserve System. Willing and knowing failure to do so will bring the death penalty as a Jesuit conspirator to that violator. Once we scan the entire personnel base of the U.S. Federal Reserve System and determine that all Jesuits have been removed, then those who worked for the Federal Reserve System will have new jobs in our International Charity Bank with a branch of the ICB called the Federal Reserve's Replacement, which will be called the Financial Strategies Coalition, 13.7e of terrorist money laws. Those with training in economics and finance will head the Financial Strategies Coalition, even if it means we have to import workers into the FS Coalition. These heads of the FS Coalition will determine the policies and strategies used to maintain a healthy economy and regulate the banks and financial systems of all nations under the FS Coalition's control, which would be all nations that belong to the International Charity Bank Network, 13.7f. Any person who works for the FS Coalition and willingly and knowingly, directly or indirectly supports policies that support Jesuit goals will get the death penalty as a Jesuit conspirator. The U.S. Federal Reserve System will be abolished by April 19, 2017 and replaced with the FS Coalition. Current strategies in place will remain while the transfer from the Federal Reserve System to the FS Coalition takes place. but all strategies and policies must be analyzed and reviewed by the heads of the FS coalition, and those policies deemed evil, Jesuit-friendly must be reversed and or changed by April 25th, 2017, so that no actions that come from the FS coalition will support evil Jesuit goals designed to take down Jesuit enemies. 13.7G. Before any policies are enacted or put into effect, the creator or creators of that policy must pass mind and emotion read scans that show that the policy's author wants to promote and or enact the policy with the intent to honor conspiracy law and to prevent Jesuits from taking over the world. Our computers must be programmed so that once a policy is decided upon by the International Charity Bank and its subagent, the FS Coalition, that the policy's creator must pass a scan to verify that he or she created that policy to promote conspiracy law and to prevent evil Jesuits from taking over the world. Failure to pass this scan must block that creator from going forward with his plan. Any willing and or knowing, direct or indirect attempt or action to violate this Section 13.7G in a manner that promotes evil Jesuit goals by any person involved with this Section 13.7G will bring the death penalty as a Jesuit conspirator to that violator. There was one other update I made. Let me see. I think I got it here. 13.7F1. Any willing and or knowing, direct or indirect attempt or action by any person to reinstate the current Federal Reserve System in order to overthrow the Financial Strategies Coalition will bring the death penalty as a Jesuit conspirator to that violator. I'm making a video on this because we need to jump on this. I can tell that the Laurie McBride Jesuits are using financial strategies to bankrupt and destroy their enemies. And they're using theft, extortion, money laundering, mind control, drug rape, you name it. We cannot allow this to continue. I've been kind of sitting in the background and letting President Trump be U.S. president, even though I was elected on November the 8th. But he needs some help. And so I've passed this law. President Trump, we no longer have the U.S. Federal Reserve. And this is going to help you out because the shadow government was planning on using the U.S. Federal Reserve, I think, to hike interest rates and induce an economic depression to boot you out of office. And so I'm going to help you out. So let's make sure this law gets enforced, and let's kick the butt of those evil Laurie McBride Jesuits. We cannot allow them to get away with this. So I'll ignore my phone. I think I know what that is. Anyways, folks, we are going to take care of this. Okay, President Trump, I've got your back. I would like to say this, President Trump. I believe that you are just playing a game with Vladimir Putin. I think that you know in your heart of hearts that Vladimir Putin is a good man and that he's not a terrorist and that Russia has never had any troops in Syria. So I think you're just playing a game so that you can get the Jesuit-controlled, fire ants, crazy, frenzied media off of your back about Russia and all this stuff. It is possible, though, that the Laurie McBride Jesuits inside, who have infiltrated into Russia and who are against Vladimir Putin, may be causing some problems. So, but I do believe that your attack in Syria and your talk about North Korea may be justified. I think that, of course, we're not getting... People, if you want to know what's really going on, you need to go to Gabriel Chana Fox News. It's 00 on cable if you get it. I also have a website, gabrielchana.com/foxnews.html, where I'm going to have a report about this new law I just passed, where I have little articles in there about important tidbits about things that are, happening that you're not going to hear about in Jesuit mainstream, what I call the fake news. The only real news is Gabriel Chana Fox News. All the rest is fake news. Laurie McBride is still, unfortunately, in control of most of the mainstream news network and the mainstream internet. So anyways, let's go for now.